Relentless NBA community has no heart for Caitlin Clark as calls mount against ex-national players' bold stance. Diana Taurasi retired in February 2025, ending an era. Her legacy was locked: 3 WNBA championships, 6 Olympic gold medals, and 10,000-plus career points later, she was, and forever would be, a candidate for greatest basketball player of all time. But almost before the farewells were over, a new argument was raging online. Is Caitlin Clark the next GOAT? And the hot take: retired NBA player Rashad McCants seems to think so, raising eyebrows in the hoops world as a result. McCants took to X, formerly Twitter, this week to declare, "The face of the NBA is Caitlin Clark. Yeah, I said it. She has handled criticism better than the people you consider the greatest of all time. At Caitlin Clark 22, you're the GOAT." The timing, just days after Taurasi retired, has many speculating whether it was a slight to Taurasi's legacy. McCants didn't mention names, but his words have left fans to quibble over greatness and timing, seemingly taking a dig at Clark's credentials. Which retired WNBA player is often considered one of the greatest of all time, having won 3 WNBA championships and 6 Olympic gold medals? Caitlin Clark is easily one of the most sensational players to hit women's basketball in years. From her historic numbers in college at Iowa to her incredible rookie season with the Indiana Fever, she's already making history. But the GOAT? That's rich, and fans called it out quickly. While she has faced criticism before, such as this year in college during her rivalry with Angel Reese, it's difficult to say Clark was subjected to the constant pressure Taurasi and others had to endure throughout their careers. Dealing with the outside noise is part of the job of being great, but it's not the only reason for GOAT-level status. Fans clash over McCants' GOAT comments on Caitlin Clark. Unsurprisingly, McCants' tweet didn't sit well with fans. Many questioned his logic and pointed out inconsistencies in his criteria for greatness. One fan wrote, "How she's the GOAT when she hasn't won anything? I'm one of her biggest fans, but based how you judge Tatum etc. what you giving CC a pat on the back for? You gotta be consistent, Shat." Another fan sarcastically added that maybe they could have this convo if Clark wins an MVP this year. If she wins an MVP this year, then we'll talk lol. Others were not as polite in blasting here. According to your logic, she hasn't accomplished anything. What we supposed to give her a pat on the back? And finally, some just poo-pooed on McCants altogether. It's too early for you to have brawn meat in your mouth like this. Way too early. And one wrote, "Google, who is Rashad McCants? Caitlin Clark is an amazing player full of potential, but it's way too premature to crown her as the GOAT." What makes McCants' take interesting is that it comes just a few days after Diana Taurasi announced that she would be retiring. So it's hard not to think his tweet is a part of the growing buzz surrounding who will take the torch in women's basketball. Although McCants might not have directly pointed to Taurasi, it's hard not to read between the lines when he decided to call Clark the GOAT, just days after Taurasi, who's arguably the greatest of all time, just announced her plans to retire. It's one thing to hype up Clark for her legendary start, but it's another to use that hype to stir the pot surrounding the women's basketball legends who have already earned their stripes. Caitlin Clark's winning mentality was apparent from early age, but it upset my parents. Indiana Fever's Caitlin Clark is making waves as the poster girl for women's hoops, and she hasn't stopped since she was just a nipper sinking shots on the court. The WNBA Rookie of the Year's drive for flawless play shines bright with an impressive tally of smashed records before even hitting 23. Now a pro and an icon in the sports realm, Clark openly dished about her utter distaste for defeat during her youth. Chatting to Nike, having inked an 8-year deal worth $28 million, the Fever ace explained, "I think I've hated losing even before I can remember. When I was growing up, all I did was cry when I lost. It upset my parents a lot. My dad was my first coach, so he had to deal with me crying. The more I won, the less crying there was." Victories in championship games have eluded her so far, with 2 college basketball title match losses under her belt against powerhouses LSU and South Carolina, while lacing up for Iowa. Read more. Eagles made firm decision on White House visit before winning Super Bowl. Read more. John Daly made heartfelt promise to Tiger Woods' parents when golf legend was a teenager. But even with those setbacks, she left college ball as the NCAA's all-time top scorer, shifting on to set multiple rookie records in the WNBA. While piling up wins is still her jam, and the Fever are pulling out the stops to fortify their squad for the upcoming season, Clark's focus has pivoted. At 23, she's keener on the mark she'll leave behind in women's basketball history, rather than just her own statsheet triumphs. Clark has made it clear that her impact on women's basketball is about more than just personal accolades. Last year, she expressed her desire for a different kind of legacy. "I don't want my legacy to be, oh, Caitlin won X amount of games, or Caitlin scored X amount of points," she said. "I hope it's what I was able to do for the game of women's basketball." She aspires to inspire both boys and girls to pursue their dreams, stating, "I hope it is the young boys and young girls that are inspired to play this sport or dream to do whatever they want to do in their lives. For it to come down to 40 minutes, and for me to validate myself within 40 minutes, I don't think that's a fair assessment." Clark's influence is already evident. During her rookie season with the Fever, the team saw the highest average attendance in the WNBA, with over 17,000 fans per game, a significant increase from the pre-Clark average of 4,066. Her impact was felt even before her WNBA days. At Iowa, she was instrumental in driving record revenue, with the Des Moines Register's Chad Leistikow reporting that during her sophomore season, the Hokies women's basketball team generated $767,069 in ticket sales. By her senior year, that number soared to $3,260,451, surpassing the men's program for the first time. Meanwhile, the men's team experienced a drop in ticket revenue by 14.6%, from $3,471,938 to $2,965,969, further highlighting Clark's remarkable effect on the sport.